Hello, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you are listening to VCR. Hey, Roxy, how you doing?
I'm good.
It's good. You
Having
have
some cravings.
had some cravings. Oh, I'm all too familiar with Roxy's cravings. And this is really the season for her cravings. So why don't you tell
Mhm.
everyone what it is that you kind of go ape shit for through February till pretty much May?
Yeah.
So what do you go crazy for there?
Some yummy crawfish booty.
Crawfish. She loves that.
Crawfish.
That crawfish booty, or
That's the
tis
only booty I eat. Crawfish booty.
she only eats the crawfish booty. Yeah, it is crawfish season in Louisiana here in Texas. A lot of people don't realize Texas loves crawfish. Uh,
Love.
Absolutely loves it, and that's because our cousins, Louisiana, are right next door to us. They border us, so we get a lot of
Hmm.
that good Cajun food down
Delicious.
here. hmm But the thing that Roxy loves the most is some good old crawfish. Yes,
I do.
deliciousness. Crawfish season is upon us here. It's been upon us for a minute, and then we thought to ourselves, food is culture. It's a pop culture kind of thing, but a lot of people don't understand like what a big deal crawfish season is. Not just in Louisiana, but in Texas too,
Yeah.
because it's a major deal. There
Huge.
huge industries built on crawfish
Yeah,
actually.
and it's just a short period of time. So you
Yeah,
gotta get in there and get it while you can. That's why I try to eat it as often as possible during crawfish season.
you are not fucking lying. Like, I'm surprised this woman isn't a crawfish. She eats it so much. Like, last time we went out, we had crawfish. The time before that, we had crawfish. She's thinking about going to get crawfish today.
After
Like,
the show.
she's just
I
all
had
kinds of.
crawfish on Friday.
She's
I
all
would have
kinds.
had it yesterday if we didn't go to that murder mystery dinner.
I know, right? And like, so, like, it's just all kinds of crawfishness happening for
What can
her.
I say? It's
But that
delicious.
But that's the thing, Texas and Louisiana come this season, and the season literally starts in February and goes until May, and that
Mhm.
is crawfish season because that's when the mud bugs are harvested, and that is just a big deal. I mean, just a huge deal down here.
It is.
People love to celebrate with a good crawfish boil,
They even have
and
like crawfish festivals,
they do. We have crawfish festivals down here and in
crawfish
Louisiana.
competitions.
Yeah, they have crawfish cook-offs or crawfish boil cook-offs, however you want to call it.
Hmm.
But there's a lot you can do with crawfish, that's for sure. Etouffee, a big Cajun meal, can also be done with crawfish as well. There's shrimp
Hmm.
etouffee. There is crawfish etouffee. It's deliciousness. It really is, but it's just, crawfish, crawfish, crawfish. Now, I am not a huge crawfish person. I am
No,
not.
you're not.
I don't think Roxy has ever seen me eat a crawfish.
No, you haven't.
If we've ever gone out, yeah, I just watch
I
her.
get the crawfish and you get something else.
Yeah, I just watch her with her big old bowl of crawfish there, and
You watch the massacre happen.
I just hang my head down so I don't have to see what the fuck's happening. I was like, because that is just a slaughter fest happening over there.
It really
It
is
is.
ripping heads off.
Yeah, ripping heads off, tails off, eating all that. She's wearing a bib and everything.
Sure
Because now
am. I
that's
have
something.
to.
Yeah, but that's the truth. Like you damn near have specialized eating gear for crawfish over here. Because like, last time we went out to have crawfish. Now Roxy doesn't do the gloves. She just gets in there and like fucks them up with her bare
I
hands.
can't because they give you those gloves that are like one size fits all, I guess. So they're really big on my hands. So they get in my way.
Yeah.
So if I
So.
have any gloves here,
Mhm.
then I take if I remember to bring them with me, then I'll use those because I
Yep.
can it's just like my regular hands.
Yum 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 yum.
Yum
And
yum.
yeah, she just tears them open with her own hands. But like I was last time we went out to have crawfish, well she had crawfish. I looked across, there's a table across me and there's these two women there And one woman was like geared up. She had the bib on, she had the gloves on, she had the pile of wet naps right there to like clean up because like crawfish is messy as fuck, you know. It'll get all over you. And even when Roxy is eating it, it gets all over me because I get the residual splash sitting across. Like so
Right, oop,
I just
right in my
just look
eye.
down and keep eating. That's all I can do. But yeah, she loves her some crawfish. Now, crawfish
Hmm.
boils are a big deal, and it's how we celebrate everything around here during the months of February and May.
Yeah,
But
birthdays,
yeah,
baby
birthdays,
showers,
hmm
christenings,
shit and giggle moments.
cheese and giggies.
People watching the baseball games because it's baseball season around that time
Hmm.
as well. So they're busting out with crawfish boils. But here's the interesting about crawfish boil. Crawfish is, I mean, it's crawfish. That is the main thing. But here's the thing about crawfish boils. It's also what accompanies the crawfish
Oh,
too.
definitely.
And I know someone who likes some stuff to accompany her little
I like a
crawfish.
lot of stuff.
Yeah, she sure do. So
And
Roxy, for gigglies, kind of walk us through what are some of the things that you can get in a crawfish boil? Like, what are some of those little accoutrements, those little,
well,
uh,
that you can add to it.
yeah, the little,
Well, of course, you have your potatoes and corn and
mm-hmm,
sausage. That's your normal stuff. And then I like to throw in some Brussels sprouts, green beans, broccoli. I love the broccoli. Mm.
mm-hmm.
Let's see what else. So you can throw in edamame. You can really throw in anything. People put eggs in it.
I don't like that.
I
That's
don't like eggs
disgusting to
here, like
me.
me personally, but other people love them.
Yeah, some people
Um,
love that. Like they'll put whole eggs in there, and it becomes a
like the
hard-boiled
boiled egg.
egg, but
Yeah.
it has all the seasonings absorbed in it,
Hmm.
and they go ape shit for that.
They do.
Now, here's the thing about a crawfish boil. You have to be careful because not every, if you're going to a private one like someone's home, you don't know how they're seasoning that.
Right.
Some people get heavy-handed on those seasonings, and some people like, oh, here's a shake for a 20-gallon drum.
Right. There's
It's
some
like
people that don't season it at all, and some people who like really season it.
hmm It's like, yeah, I put in 6 red flakes into this 20-gallon drum here. And they're like, so you got to be careful. But like traditionally, people like them anywhere from savory damn near to fuego.
Well, and then there's different ways too. You have your traditional Cajun way
hmm
to do it, and then there is like the Viet Cajun way,
hmm
which I personally love. I love
Yes.
both, but yeah, I love Viet Cajun.
Yes. I mean,
It's
there's
just a little bit more saucy than the regular Cajun, and I like
Mhm.
the sauce.
Mhm.
But Cajun is amazing. It's phenomenal. If it's when people know how to do it, ooh,
Mhm.
man.
Cajun is the most if you come down to Texas, and of course, if
Hmm.
you
Yeah,
go
that's the
visit Louisiana,
original.
yeah, that's that. Well, actually, I'm going to tell you something interesting on that.
Oh, tell
So,
me.
when you come down to Texas, Louisiana, the Cajun way is the common, more appropriate way to do it. However, here's a little history for you. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Okay. So we attribute it to being a Cajun dish, crawfish, right? And everyone's like, "Oh, crawfish is just so Cajun." And you would be right to an extent. However, and I do say however, it was not the Cajuns who came up with crawfish and crawfish boils.
Oh.
Um, it was the Native Americans, actually, who came up with it. And it
Mm.
was Native Americans who harvest them in what is known as the Atchafalaya Basin. But those Native Americans were actually, and check this out, how they were fishing them. Because like the way that we do it here, like if you're going to go to a crawfish, you're going to go into the bayous and all that to try to find crawfish. What you normally do is you have a cage, you can put a bit of meat on it, and you throw it in there. And crawfish are like crabs. They come to that meat and they get in that cage, and that's how you catch them. Well, Native Americans used reeds with deer meat attached to it
Mm.
in order to capture the crawfish. And they would do, of course, the boils and all this. Now, the thing is, the Cajuns who end up arriving here in the 1700s adapted crawfish as a
Mm,
food source. And they came here, the Native Americans were doing it, so they adapted it. But, like all really delicious foods, crawfish was seen as a poor man's food, basically.
mm.
So, it was like, yo, you're eating like these bugs. That's why they call them mud bugs, because they live in the
They
mud,
live in the mud.
so they're called mud bugs. And so they pop on out, and for this good, delicious little piece of meat that we put in there to trap them, and that's how you catch them. But it was seen as poor man's food. And then crawfish over time just became a staple in Cajun cuisine. It just became the biggest thing. And crawfish boils, like I said, are massive across Louisiana and Texas. You get your families together, you put
Oh
on a
yeah.
baseball game, you have some beers, and then you have a massive pot of just crawfish with your whatever fixings, like the potatoes or the green beans or the, broccoli and
I'm
sausage.
really hoping that my dad decides to do one this year.
Yeah, I've
I'm
heard
really,
about your
really hoping
dad's
he does.
crawfish. Yeah. You love his crawfish, don't
I
you?
do. He makes
Yeah.
really good crawfish. Mm.
Yep. So
There's
that's a
the
little.
shrimpies in there and everything. And then he started throwing in all the stuff that I like, the broccoli and vegetables and stuff like that. He started throwing those in too.
That sounds delish. So,
So
now,
good.
but here's something interesting. So, like, the Cajuns, they get here in the 1700s. It wasn't until the 1800s that they started to modify food to
Mm,
accommodate crawfish. So they were taking recipes that normally, like, were lobster recipes. So like you had lobster bisque, lobster whatever the recipe may be that called for lobster, but they adjusted it for crawfish because crawfish is
hmm.
a much smaller piece
Yeah,
of
it's,
meat
it's
than
a
a
baby
lobster.
lobster.
Yeah, it's a teeny tiny itty bitty baby lobster is what it is. And so they adapted it for that, which ends up creating some of the most fascinating Cajun cuisines that you've ever had.
Hmm.
For example, uh, you have crawfish pie, which I have never had, but it looks good. It might be worth it. I don't know. Roxy, have you ever had a crawfish pie?
I haven't.
Neither have I. Neither have I.
I
Here
need to get
is
that.
here is something interesting. A little factoid I just pulled up. Like this is how insane crawfish is around here. In 1983, the crawfish was officially designated as Louisiana State Crustacean.
Mm, okay.
So that it's like, that is the official, you know, crustacean of Louisiana is the crawfish. I mean, it would be Louisiana to do that in 1983. But yeah, like it's just it's important. And here's something really interesting. Crawfish farming didn't become established until the 1960s.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
yeah, crawfish farming did not really become a real industry until the 1960s. So like, but from 1700 on, people just be losing their mind for crawfish over here. Oh, so
To
that
this day.
yeah, to this day, and I do a show with one of them who just
Yeah.
loses her absolute ever-loving mind when it comes to it. Speaking of losing your mind, so Roxy taught me something interesting, and I'm hoping she'll teach y'all something interesting. So when you're eating crawfish and all its juicy goodness and it's all dripping down your face and down your bib, like Roxy, apparently there is a way to determine what crawfish you should be eating, what crawfish you shouldn't. Something about the way the tail is shaped.
Yeah.
So
Like if the
explain
tail
that.
is sticking straight out, you're not supposed to eat those because it means it was dead before it went in the water. So you
Mm.
don't want to eat those.
Okay. All right. So rigor mortis had hit in before it had the chance to boil. Because yeah, you boil crawfish live over here,
Hmm.
and I know may not be the most pleasant thing to hear, but you do the
It's
same thing
not.
with,
I don't want to
you know,
hear that,
yeah,
but I enjoy them.
yeah, you do the same thing with lobster. You know, you
Hmm.
boil them alive, and they say it's the most humane way to do it. I was like, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I'm sure there are other more humane ways to do this, but what do I know at this point? But yeah, it is massive down here and it is delicious. But you have all kinds of things that you can do with the crawfish, but crawfish boils are huge here. And like it's a massive
Mhm.
party. In fact, they will use crawfish to lure you into businesses
Oh yeah.
down here.
One of the places that I like going to downtown, they offer free crawfish with every drink that you buy.
Yeah, so it's like, so explain
And I
how
was like,
that
free
works.
crawfish, cops, I'm there.
So is it like a pound per every drink, or how does it?
Yeah. So it's like $13 a pound basically, because the
Hmm.
drinks are like 13 bucks.
So you buy a drink and you get a pound
Free
of
crawfish.
crawfish with it.
Yeah.
Understood. So really, you're buying the crawfish and getting a drink for free, is what this is.
Basically.
But they lure you in with that. Oh my God.
Whatever, it worked. I got there.
Yeah, you sure did. Like crawfish is just huge. Like, and they'll do like bargain prices. But like on
Hmm.
average, is $13 about the price you pay for a pound of crawfish?
That's a little high.
It's a little high. So that
A little
$13
high.
is a little high. So on average, what would you pay for a pound of the deliciousness?
Oh, I don't know. It just depends on, the economy and things like that. But
Hmm.
I think where did I go? Oh, I went somewhere Friday and it was like 6.99 a pound, but it was like happy hour.
Mm.
So I was like, hell yeah.
So I guess that full price maybe what, $12 a
Maybe
pound?
like nine. I don't know.
Nine
Like
dollars a
nine. I
pound.
have no
Okay.
idea.
So
I
nine
honestly
dollars
don't know. I don't look. I'm just like, yeah, give me.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, I know that. So yeah. But
Let
like I guess that would be on average like maybe $9 a
me
pound
see.
for
Well, I know
crawfish.
at the grocery store you can buy them live and it's way cheaper,
Oh yeah, I
obviously.
would imagine so. Because people love like and they'll go and they'll buy massive amounts of crawfish for their boils. But let's check this out. How much is crawfish crawfish per pound? It already popped out up immediately. Um
So
oh.
at BB's, it's 11.49 a pound.
Hmm.
5 pounds for 45.99.
So according to gocrawfish.com, don't know you, but you exist. It is for 2 pounds, $8.50 for 2 pounds of crawfish.
That's live
That's
crawfish.
for 20, yeah, that's live crawfish. So I'm just going with like how much crawfish costs if you go buy it
Yeah.
live. So if you go to the store, you cook your own crawfish because you're gonna do your own boil, or you want to make you some crawfish etouffee, or you're gonna do some crawfish pies. You're gonna be paying 8.50 for 2 pounds of crawfish. Now, on average, how much did you say it was to be prepared for a pound of crawfish?
Well, here it's 11.49 a pound.
11.49 a pound at the place that she likes to go to, and she normally you do what, 2 3 pounds,
Yeah, 2 pounds, three
two
pounds.
pounds. So you're spending about, you can spend easily 22 to you know 30 something bucks on crawfish. And let me tell you, she eats every bit of that 2 pounds worth of crawfish. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking 2 pounds or 3 pounds of crawfish
It's really not
sounds
a
like
lot.
yeah, it sounds like a lot. It isn't, because you got to remember that is a nice sized mud bug, but the issue is that mud bug doesn't have that much meat on it. So you got to,
Because you're only eating the tail, and the tail's like that big. So like,
you're eating the tail, and you might eat some of the claws if they have big enough.
yeah, if the claws are big enough.
Yeah, but most of them are pretty small, so you're not getting anything out of it anyway. So let me ask you this. Is there a difference? All right, because I don't do this, so I don't know. Sucking the head of the crawfish, is that the same thing as tearing off the tail and eating it, or is there meat in the head that you're just sucking out?
No, it's not. There's no meat from the when you do that. It's just getting the juice that's in the head. Like there's juices because the ribs are in there. I know that sounded so nasty.
I'm over
But
here
there's
just
like the
smiling
juices
away.
from the boil that are in the like in the ribs, and so like you just squish the head and like suck the juices out.
So
So you suck the head and eat the booty.
you suck the
That's
head
right.
to get to the juices, is what
Yes,
you're saying. Okay.
exactly.
All right. So that's what it. So you're just sucking head for the juices,
Yes.
not anything else. No real
No.
protein value.
No.
So when it comes to crawfish, how's your head game, Roxy?
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
Pretty good. No complaints.
No complaints about your head game. Crawfish has never. I've never seen a crawfish say, "Wait, stop, no."
Right.
But you will see, though, no joke, you will see T-shirts that have that kind of joke on it, like "How's your head game?" and it's a crawfish on there,
Hmm.
or eating booty and it's a crawfish on there. Because like I said, crawfish is a massive thing here. You
Hmm.
have merchandise like for days just based on the crawfish, especially down in Louisiana. And oh God, probably more in New Orleans than anything else. But let's talk about a key importance of the crawfish. Isn't that right, Amara, who's about to get a spanking? Um, one of the key important things, and you have to have it. You cannot fuck this up. Yes, you need water. I ain't talking water. You have to add spices. Absolutely.
You better.
And it cannot just be, oh, they put salt and pepper in this. No.
I don't want to show up to your crawfish boil and it looks like I'm getting a seafood boil in Savannah. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
no,
There better be
no.
some seasoning on that shit.
And let me tell you, someone was really mad about that seafood boil in Savannah.
I am still mad about that seafood boil in Savannah.
And that was
Still
maybe,
mad. And that was last year, a year
yeah,
before.
I was gonna say, like, that may have
Still
been
mad
two
about
years
that shit.
ago, and someone's still angry about it. But yeah, crawfish, like, you have to have seasonings. You have to have proper seasonings. And one of the best seasonings that you can have, and then correct me if I'm wrong, Roxy, you're more of an expert on this than I am. I don't know shit when it comes to crawfish.
That's true.
I have to, bow my head to the expert over here. Uh, Old Bay, am I
Oh
right?
yeah.
Old Bay is a classic spice blend that you can buy anywhere.
Yeah, at the grocery store.
Yeah. And get some of those delicious crawfish flavors going. But Old Bay is
That is the seasoning that they use, one of them.
yeah, and then you can also, what else? Can you use some of that I'm gonna butcher the name, some of that
Tony Chachere's.
Tony Chachere's, yes. Is
Yeah,
that
you
something
can
that
use
they
that,
put?
yeah.
Do they have crawfish seasoning, Tony?
I think so. Yeah, they have one that's called boil
Mhm.
seasoning.
Now, around this time, you can go down here, at least in Louisiana and in Texas, you can find this. When you start going down the seafood aisles, you're gonna see all kinds of Cajun spices pop up, but you're also gonna see a lot of fry mix, fish fry mix pop up because this is also not just the crawfish season, but it is also the season for all you good Catholics out there, uh, the season of Lent. And let me tell you,
Pickles.
as a as a good Catholic boy over here,
Sure.
uh, uh, I celebrate Lent every Friday almost with catfish. A delicious fried catfish is my Lenten. Just like Roxy hits up that crawfish almost every day. Every Friday I hit up catfish, or sometimes it's mostly catfish.
If I
But
could have crawfish like 4 times a week, I would.
yeah, trust me, she would. But like, no joke, you go down that aisle and it's nothing but crawfish seasoning and fry a mix for catfish because catfish is king down here. I mean, throughout the South, catfish is king. It's
Hmm.
not just Texas, Louisiana, but throughout the South, Atlanta, all these other southern places. Catfish is just the absolute king of uh, seafood delicatessen, as we
Mm,
call it here, even though
right.
you don't find catfish in the sea. Uh, but for as far as we're concerned, when you go to a seafood restaurant, catfish is on it. If you come down to the southern region of the United States, you will find
Hmm.
catfish. Not to divert from the topic of crawfish here, but it's just a southern delicacy. Matter of fact, at some seafood boils, they will fry up catfish too. For those who are not
Mm-hmm.
into the crawfish,
Like the
and
catfish, yeah.
yeah, you have just a little something extra, and catfish will accompany it. Especially if you're at a good Catholic household where it's like, oh, we have crawfish and catfish.
Come to my house and we had crawfish, catfish, and barbecue.
Yep. Yep. Some people, oh man, you ain't lying on that. Like people like here in Texas, it's this thing where you can have a crawfish boil and have a grill going at the same
Hmm.
time.
That's usually how it is at my parents' house. They'll have the
Yeah,
grill going and the boil going.
because not everyone, also not everyone can have crawfish, not just because they may not like it, but crawfish is a shellfish, and it
Yeah, and
can
some
give
yeah, some
you, you know,
religions can't eat shellfish.
not just that, but you can have a wicked send me to the hospital
Reaction, yeah.
reaction.
Allergic
Uh,
reactions.
yeah, to shellfish, and you need to go get an epi shot, and so that's a thing. So not everyone can have that, so it's not unusual to have some other delicious type of thing accompanying it, like barbecue, as we do here in Texas, and we are famous for our brisket. So someone's gonna have brisket going at the same time. Um, but like I said, crawfish can go pretty much good with anything too. It's delicious. It really is. I feel like doing a Bubba Gump thing where it's like, shrimp pie, shrimp cocktail, shrimp this.
Right?
They're like etouffee, crawfish etouffee, crawfish pie, crawfish.
Crawfish omelets.
Yeah, crawfish boil, crawfish on a can stick, whatever. Crawfish is just huge and
It
loved
is.
here. I'm surprised Texas doesn't have that as one of our official crustaceans because, we eat it a lot down here too, Uh,
Hmm.
but like crawfish is just huge and there are industries just based on crawfish. And let me tell you, these crawfish farmers will make an absolute killing during this season. Like absolute killing.
Hmm.
Because it is such a big deal down here. Matter of fact, let me put this in crawfish industry. Let's see how much this industry brings in. Crawfish industry.
Did a lot.
hmm Crawfish industry earnings. Y'all ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. The crawfish industry, and this is just in Louisiana alone. This is not nationwide or including Texas
Sorry.
sometimes. Uh, 300 million annually from crawfish, from little itty bitty mug bugs. You get
Dang.
300 mil annually from crawfish. Why haven't we started a farm? It does not take that much, Roxy. Why don't we go start? We
I
just gotta
mean,
flood a yard and put, throw some,
yeah.
throw some starter fish in there and then just sell them. Oh my God, that's wild. I did not I knew it was big. I didn't think it was that big to be honest. But that is interesting. That it really is, that and
Hmm.
most of that is coming from Roxy.
Yeah. A lot
Because
of that is me.
she does love that. So different crawfish recipes just to kind of throw out there with you. You do have the crawfish etouffee, you have the crawfish boils. You have let's check this out. 40 favorite crawfish recipes from Louisiana cooking. And we're just going to do this right quick because, someone needs to go get her crawfish fixed.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So I'm just going to read it through. I won't even bother sharing. We will just kind of throw a few little things out there. Fried crawfish etouffee balls. That
Mmm.
actually does sound fucking
That sounds really good.
spectacular. We also have, oh my God, it's a slideshow. It's gonna make me go through. Oh God, I hate it when it does that. This one, crawfish macaroni and cheese.
Mmm.
That got someone's attention. Cajun crawfish bread. Now that kind of got me
Okay.
going. That sounds good to me. Then you also have classic crawfish etouffee. You have crawfish hand pies, which are just like empanadas. They're basically
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say it's like
empanadas.
crawfish empanadas, yeah.
Yeah, basically what you got. Then you have fried crawfish poor boys. Oh, those are good. I will admit those are
Mm.
quite delish. And then you have crawfish macaroni and cheese fritters.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then you have oh, yeah, I don't know about this one. I'm gonna call bullshit on this one, but check this out. Crawfish cheesecake. No. That's a hard no for me. Uh no.
That doesn't sound like
That
I'm
does not like
No.
no. Then you have crawfish boudin, which that sounds reasonable. That on a
Mm.
crawfish on a cracker, basically what that is. Crawfish crepe cake. That looks interesting.
Interesting.
That looks interesting. I can't say that I wouldn't have it, but it looks interesting. This may be after Roxy's heart because it combines corn. Roxy loves corn. Crawfish and corn chowder.
Interesting.
Maybe getting your
Maybe.
goat a little bit.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right. Well, for all of you out there who may have some questions about the delicious crawfishness, maybe you're on the other side of the world and you want to ask us some questions about this delicatessen. I'm saying it like
Delicacy.
down here in the South and you have questions, feel free to hit us up at the VCR Show at the VCR Show at gmail.com or our social medias, the VCR Show, our website, the VCRshow.com, YouTube channel, the VCR Show. And let's say you want to take the beautiful and fabulous Miss Roxy to a delicious crawfish boil that you've prepared
Mm.
for her. You can send her your invites to her social medias, which are
On Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, on Instagram at PopRocks428, and on TikTok at the PopRocks. And PopRocks is spelled POPROXX.
and as always, I'm Vara.
And I'm Roxy.
And you've been listening to VCR.
I'm gonna go get some crawfish.
Crawfish, yeah. Bye-bye. You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at the VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.